Hello, in today's tutorial we'll be taking a look over the production schedule, how to add items to the production schedule, how to manipulate items on the production schedule, and also some of the tools available to help you decide when to put items on the production schedule. There is another specific video for running actual productions, and you should watch that after you've watched this one. If we go to the production schedule now, we can see here all of the items that we have available to us. I will explain all these in detail because there are several facets to this. Top right hand corner, we can add jobs to the production schedule. Now this is only one way of adding jobs. If you've watched any of the videos to do with sales orders, you will know that for individual lines in a sales order, there are buttons within that section for adding jobs for that as well. Generally you would only add jobs manually using this button if you were making items which weren't associated with a single sales order, or you were making them items to put them into stock, for example. One of the other buttons here is to add downtime. If any of the machines that you have available on this left hand side, which I'll get to in a minute, are unavailable for whatever reason for a period of time, let's say scheduled maintenance or servicing, that's going to last more than, let's say, an hour for example, you can add downtime onto these machines, which would appear as grey blocks within the days or weeks to show that that particular machine was unavailable for that period of time. If you wish to download your current schedule of jobs, you can do by clicking here, and this sometimes can help you decide the best order for putting items onto certain machines based upon their capacity, etc. So you could use that independently of here and then come back here and drag and drop the items accordingly. If we take a look at this area here, we can see that this is essentially a large calendar. It will default into this current week view. You can see in this case we've only gone Monday to Friday. If of course you work weekends or work hours outside of the 8 till 5, which is displayed here, you can set these in Receta's admin area. You can of course click to view in month view or day view if you wish, and of course you can manipulate the days are available by clicking here, and this would change the dates accordingly. The dates that are shown here by default will always go back to the last dates for which there are any jobs currently outstanding. If there are no jobs at all on your planner, the default dates will move to be this current week. Okay, if we look down the left hand side here, we can see what we've classified as the rooms. These could also be called sectors or areas of your business. In most cases this will be broken down into 3 separate areas: mixing, encapsulation or tableting, and complete product. In other words, the rec, the FP and the C-prod. For mixing, in most cases we won't break this further down into separate machines. A mix is simply a mix, and you can add multiple mix jobs on as required on this line. Encapsulation can be broken down into several machines that you run in your business. These can be set up in the admin area under machinery. The machinery that is shown will also be available in general in the labour calculations area for your sales orders. However, that's something for a different video. All of the machines which are available will be shown here. In this case we only have one. When you add a new encapsulation job or tableting job to the production schedule, it will appear in this line here. This tells your staff that although we know it's an encapsulation job, and I will get to these colours in a short while, it is yet to be assigned to a particular machine. Your staff can then elect to drag and drop this onto a machine at a time and date of their choosing. Other members of staff then looking at this can be sure that they know which machine it's going to go on what time and what day. The same applies to complete products. You may well break your complete product down into production lines or individual machines that this particular job would go on, and again you can drag and drop accordingly. No doubt you are wondering what all of the colours mean. We've provided a helpful legend below to give you an idea as to what's happening. If we look on this section here, the colours in here, which are full colours, i.e. in this case a full green or a full black, denote simply the type of job. If you tried to move a mixed job into the encapsulation area, for example, you would receive an error. It wouldn't let you do it. So we can see that all the jobs that are black are mixed jobs or rec jobs. All the jobs which are green are encapsulation or FP jobs. All the jobs which are blue are complete product jobs. Anything which is grey, as I previously described, would be areas of maintenance or downtime for the machines. On top of that, we can have additional underlines, thick underlines here, which relate some more information about that particular job. If the item has a yellow underline, it means that this job is already in production. It's already being made as we speak. If, however, the item has other statuses, which will be pulled through from the sales order per line status, again, if you're not sure what that means, please view one of the videos to do with sales orders, you'll see all of these statuses reflected in those lines. So in this case, we've got 2 jobs on here, but those particular jobs, their status on the sales order line is awaiting FP ingredients. So those are shown with an orange underline. On top of the colour schemes, we also have some additional icons that you can see here at the beginning of every job. If the item has an exclamation mark, as shown here, it's telling us that something about either the item as a whole or any of its constituent parts, there's a warning against that. It could be that that particular material is difficult to handle, we have to wear certain equipment, for example. You could find out what that warning was by going into the item, or when you start production the warning would appear and anybody would be able to read it and take notice of it accordingly. Also, the way Receta works is what's called a pre-allocation method. Before a job can start, you must allocate the stock for it. Any of the icons here tell us the status of the allocation of these jobs. Anything with what is effectively a no battery icon means that something about them can't be allocated. I will get that into that shortly. So that is something which is stopping us being able to move forward with that production start. Anything with the half battery means that everything that is possibly needed to be allocated can be, i.e. we have all of the stock in for that item, but we haven't yet allocated it. And everything with a full battery means that it's been allocated and it's ready to go. If we click here on any of the items, we will see a screen similar to this one. In some cases, where the production has started, some extra buttons may be available, and I'll show you those in a minute. However, a lot of this remains the same. We can see the item that we're making and the quantity. In this case, this is a rec, and we're making 21.6 kilos of it. We can see its start date, its likely end date, its overall production status, whether or not it's actually being made, in this case it's pending, and any linked sales order for this item, the status of that sales order. This again is where we get that awaiting FP ingredients or awaiting C-prod materials, etc. If we then were able to, we'd be able to click allocate stock, which I'll do now. Here we go through to the stock allocation. In this case there is only one ingredient in this rec, but unfortunately, as the icon was telling us, we're unable to allocate the stock and unable to save it, so we cannot progress. If we were able to allocate, what would have happened is the batches that were available to us to allocate will be shown, and we will be able to select which batches we wanted to use in that particular production. If we look at an item which is already on the go, we can see we get some additional fields. When an item is allocated, we can then print the picking list. I'll reprint that now. After an item has been allocated, you would then, in most scenarios, print this picking list to provide to your picking staff. The picking list would show the item in question, the reference and the name, and, even though they're missing in this case, it would show the batches that you have selected to be used. So your stock rotation is automatically controlled by you and the Receta. No longer will you be relying on individual members of staff picking the correct batches in their own preference, for example. If we, for whatever reason, decide to stop the item and we wish to put all the stock back, let's say we can't run it because the machine's broken, for example, we can unallocate the stock or we can remove the job. If this is a production based around an FP, where we are holding capsule weights, don't worry if you don't know what that means or how to do that at this moment in time. There is another video showing productions running. You would click view running weights and the running weights of the capsule will be shown here. One final point that I'd like to make: at any point you can drag and drop your items across the range that they're allowed. Obviously, as I previously explained, you can't move a mixing job onto encapsulation, vice versa. But you can, of course, move it between machines, between days, etc. It may be in some instances, if you're moving between weeks, for example, it may be easier to come into this area and click Edit to edit the job. It's your preference. This concludes the video showing you the production area, how to add jobs, and some of the other buttons and features in this section. I hope you've enjoyed it.